U.S. sanctions on Iran are illegal. This is according to UN experts. Let's get into the article. U.S. sanctions on Iran are illegal. According to UN experts, the embargo denies vital medical care to Iranians with hereditary disease, human rights officials say. So, in order to understand what's going on, let's get into the timeline. In 2015, the US, UK, France, Russia, China, and Germany, these are the major countries in power in the world. They made a deal with Iran. This is in 2015, and this is under the Obama administration. They made a deal with Iran. This is in 2015. The deal in 2015, this is again under the Obama administration, was in exchange for Iran not continuing to research nuclear energy, which both the US and even Israel have done and have not been punished for. The US would relieve some UN sanctions against Iran. And they all agreed on this deal in 2015. Fast forward 3 years later, in 2018, under the Trump administration, which was seeking to undo every Obama policy except tax cuts for the rich and aiding and abetting Israel, the Trump administration reneged on this 2015 Obama deal and instead both immorally and unethically imposed an embargo on Iran in 2018, which continues to this day under the Biden administration. Fast forward to today, the UN Human Rights Council came out just yesterday and said that America's sanctions against Iran and their enforcement in third countries, meaning countries who would do business with Iran, clash with international law. They came up with this determination that the U.S. sanctions go against international law after they sent 2 rapporteurs to report on the condition of Iranians with hereditary blood disorders, thalassemias. Quote, the legality of the U.S. unilateral sanctions against Iran is doubtful under international law, and so is the legality of their extraterritorial enforcement. Alina Duhan, these are the 2 rapporteurs' names. One is Alina Duhan, the other one, and Obiora Okafor, said in a statement. Quote, still, companies outside the U.S. feel obliged to comply to avoid facing legal or business repercussions. And this is something that I'm going to introduce again and again, about how businesses are scared to do business with. And when I mean do business with, we're not just talking about simple transactions. We're talking about medical, life-saving transactions, meaning selling like much needed medicine that Iranians need, including these special Iranians who have hereditary blood disorders, thalassemias. So Iran, unfortunately, has a high number of patients with thalassemia, this hereditary blood disorder, and who require specialized medication during blood transfusions. Those specialized medications are made by a Swiss company with French components, Swiss and French. And so the Swiss and French medical companies were going to ship medication to Iran, but were denied by the U.S. due to quote-unquote fear of sanctions in medical, delivery, and insurance business sectors. So again, we're getting this picture painted about how companies throughout the world are scared to do business with, and we're not talking about buying candy or buying T-shirts or buying things that you don't really that are ancillary, that you might not really need, and that you can make at home, that Iranians can make by themselves. We're talking about life-saving medication here. The U.S. imposes high fines on companies selling medication to Iran, which leads to companies, quote-unquote, over-complying, so they're scared about being sanctioned and being fined, and so they over-comply with U.S. sanctions. But again, you can't blame these companies as much as you have to blame the United States for these sanction and embargo laws. The US is such a wicked and depraved country, placing sanctions and embargoes on any country, especially over life-saving medication. You have to be a special kind of deranged country and have a special kind of deranged government to have this go on. Even when deliveries are authorized for medication and so on, quote, producers, shippers, insurers, or banks are reluctant to do business with Iran, fearing, quote, aggressive U.S. sanctions enforcement and penalties, leading to fear, pain, and premature death among Iranian thalassemia patients. So these Iranian thalassemia patients who have this hereditary blood disorder, they feel fear, they feel pain, they feel premature death due to the U.S. and its sanctions and embargo laws. This is so evil. America and its government and foreign policy are so evil. The two rapporteurs that I noted above, Alina Durhan and Obiora Okafor, both called on the U.S. government to remove obstacles to financial transactions for medical purposes and effectively implement some humanitarian exemptions. And that's what I have to say about this story. Again, the title of the article is called U.S. Sanctions on Iran are Illegal, according to UN experts. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this story. The U.S. is absolutely in the wrong, 100%, and it's evil and unethical and immoral and unjust policy. Let me know what you think about this story in the comment section. Hit the like in the video. That helps with the algorithm. If you're listening to this on the podcast, tweet me. Let me know what you think about this story there. Take care.